The descent to Kepler 452 bits was never going to be easy, but Jack Thompson had made a career out of navigating impossible situations. The research vessel Horizon trembled as it punched through the planet's dense atmosphere, its quantum stabilizers working overtime to compensate for the unpredictable magnetic interference. "Incoming gravitational anomaly," shouted Maria Gonzalez, the ship's chief systems engineer, her fingers dancing across holographic control panels. "Magnetospheric readings are off the charts. This is not normal planetary behavior." Jack gripped the command chair, his cybernetic eye, a memento from his days in the Interstellar Reconnaissance Corps, scanning multiple data streams simultaneously. Unlike standard prosthetic augmentations, his was a custom piece salvaged from an abandoned research station, capable of processing information at speeds that made most eyes look sluggish. "Hold her steady," he commanded, his voice calm despite the ship's violent shaking. "We didn't come 1,200 light-years to turn back now." Behind him, Emily Rodriguez adjusted her neural interface, the delicate tech woven into her braided hair flickering with diagnostic lines of code. As the team's xenolinguist, she was more than just a translator. She was a living bridge between human understanding and alien communication. Her reputation came from deciphering the communication systems of 3 previously unknown alien civilizations, each breakthrough rewriting xenolinguistic textbooks. The Horizon's hull groaned. Warning lights blazed across every console. "Jack," Maria called out, her voice tight, "we're experiencing quantum destabilization in the hull's molecular structure. Another 2 minutes like this, and we'll be torn apart." Jack's cybernetic eye focused on a peculiar energy signature emerging from the planet's surface. It wasn't just an anomaly. It was a deliberate pattern, almost like a complex mathematical equation writing itself across the planetary landscape. "There," he said, pointing to a specific coordinate. "That's our landing zone." Emily leaned forward, her neural interface already parsing the complex geometric patterns. "Those aren't random geological formations. They're communicating something." The ship plummeted, molecular stabilizers fighting against the planet's bizarre gravitational field. Traditional landing protocols meant nothing here. This was pure survival and intuition. With a thunderous impact that sent shockwaves through the vessel, the Horizon crashed into a rocky plateau. Emergency systems activated instantly, creating a protective energy bubble around the ship. For a moment, everything was silent. Jack was the first to move. "Damage report." Maria's hands flew across her diagnostics. "Hull integrity at 62%. Quantum stabilizers are fried, but emergency systems are holding. We're grounded, but alive." Emily was already analyzing the external environment. Her neural interface projected a holographic map of their surroundings, highlighting strange crystalline structures that seemed to pulse with an internal light. "These formations, they're not natural. They're responding to our presence." As the team prepared to exit the ship, Jack noticed something peculiar. The crystalline structures were gradually shifting, almost imperceptibly, creating complex geometric patterns that seemed to dance just at the edge of human perception. "Standard protective protocols," Jack instructed, checking his advanced exploration suit. Developed by the most cutting-edge human research facilities, the suit could withstand extreme temperatures, radiation, and atmospheric pressures. It was more than equipment. It was a testament to human engineering. The airlock cycled, and they stepped onto the alien landscape. The moment Jack's boot touched the ground, the crystalline structures began to shift more dramatically. Geometric patterns emerged, complex and beautiful, like a living mathematics that responded to human presence. Emily's neural interface went into overdrive. "Jack," she whispered, "these aren't just structures. They're communicating." Massive crystalline formations rose around them, each one seemed to pulse with an inner light that defied known physics. They weren't just observing. They were responding, changing, revealing something that humanity had never encountered before. Jack Thompson smiled. This was why he became an archaeologist, not to uncover dead histories, but to witness living mysteries that challenged everything humans thought they understood about the universe. Little did they know, their discovery would rewrite the very concept of humanity's place in the cosmos. The first warning came not from their instruments, but from a subtle change in the crystalline structures surrounding them. Emily's neural interface began to vibrate, a high-pitched resonance that made the hairs on the back of her neck stand up. "Jack," she called out, her voice tense. "We've got incoming." Before he could respond, the sky above Kepler 452 bits transformed. What had moments ago been a swirling atmosphere of muted grays and blues now erupted with the unmistakable signature of a massive starship dropping out of faster-than-light travel. The Zorn Confederacy's flagship, the Crushing Dominance, was unlike any vessel humanity had encountered. Spanning nearly 5 kilometers, the ship was a nightmare of obsidian-like metal and pulsing energy conduits. Its hull bristled with weapon systems that could reduce entire continents to atomic dust. Standard galactic protocols dictated immediate surrender or obliteration. Jack's cybernetic eye rapidly calculated their options. The horizon was damaged, their defensive capabilities minimal. Maria was already running emergency power routing, attempting to bring their minimal shield systems online. "Incoming transmission," Maria announced, her voice steady despite the imminent threat. The holographic communication array flickered to life, revealing the face of High Commander Krasnak, a Zorn military leader infamous for his ruthlessness. The alien's translucent skin rippled with aggressive bioelectric patterns, a clear sign of extreme agitation. Rows of metallic sensory tendrils surrounding his elongated skull moved with predatory precision. "Humans," Krasnak's translated voice boomed, "you are in violation of Confederacy Exploration Directive 7 Gamma. This system is under strict quarantine. Prepare for immediate seizure of all research materials and personnel." Jack stepped forward, knowing full well the risks. The Zorn were not known for negotiation. "This is an independent human research expedition. We have full galactic exploration rights under the Orion Compact." A low, guttural laugh erupted from Krasnak. "The Orion Compact means nothing here. We have detected energy signatures that suggest you've discovered something significant." Emily's neural interface was going wild. The crystalline structures around them were becoming increasingly active, responding to the tension in ways that defied conventional physics. Geometric patterns shifted and reformed, almost like a complex language being written in real time. "The temple," Emily whispered to Jack. "It's trying to communicate something." Suddenly, the Zorn ship's weapon systems began charging. Massive energy collectors glowed with an ominous crimson light, capable of reducing their entire expedition to plasma in milliseconds. Standard human protocol would be surrender or destruction. But Jack Thompson was not a standard human. "Maria," he called softly, "Emergency Protocol Omega-9. It was a procedure developed during the Proxima conflict, a last resort strategy that existed more as a theoretical concept than a practical solution." Maria's hands flew across her control panels, routing every ounce of remaining power into a system that most considered a suicide option. The crystalline structures around them began to pulse in sync with the horizon's emergency systems. What had seemed like passive alien architecture now demonstrated something far more complex. Krasnak's transmission crackled. "You have 10 standard cycles to surrender. Resistance is." His words were cut short. The temple's crystalline formations erupted with an energy field that defied every known law of physics. It wasn't an attack. It was something far more sophisticated, a defensive mechanism that began systematically deconstructing the Zorn ship's weapon systems at a molecular level. Weapon emplacements simply dissolved. Energy collectors imploded without explosion, their complex atomic structures unraveling like delicate threads. The Zorn flagship's impressive offensive capabilities were being neutralized without a single destructive action. "What is happening?" Maria breathed, her instruments going haywire. Emily's neural interface was processing information at speeds that would have fried a standard human brain. "It's not destroying," she said, her voice filled with a mixture of terror and wonder. "It's teaching." The Zorn ship hung in orbit, now completely defenseless, not destroyed, not damaged, simply neutralized. Jack Thompson allowed himself a slight smile. Humanity had just demonstrated something far beyond military might. They had shown capacity for something the Zorn could not comprehend: intelligent de-escalation. As the crystalline structures continued their complex dance around them, Jack knew they had just crossed a threshold. Whatever this temple was, whatever secrets it held, humanity's first encounter was nothing short of revolutionary. The real discovery was just beginning. The interior of the crystalline temple defied every known principle of architectural design. As Jack, Emily, and Maria cautiously entered, the walls seemed to breathe, shifting, adapting, responding to their very presence with a living intelligence that blurred the line between technology and consciousness. Emily's neural interface was working overtime, her brain struggling to process the information flooding her synapses. "It's not just a structure," she muttered, her hands tracing holographic data streams that materialized around her fingertips. "It's a complete archive. No, more than an archive. It's a living memory." Jack watched as the walls around them transformed. What had initially appeared as solid crystal now became translucent, then transparent, revealing complex layers of holographic information. Entire star systems emerged, rotating in intricate dance-like patterns. Civilizations rose and fell in compressed time, their histories playing out in mesmerizing detail. The Space Guardians. Emily breathed. They weren't just a civilization. They were cosmic architects. Maria, typically the most pragmatic of the team, stood transfixed. Her engineering background couldn't reconcile what she was witnessing. Quantum computing systems that made human technology look like primitive abacuses. Energy manipulation techniques that rewrote the fundamental understanding of physics. A holographic figure materialized, neither fully solid nor completely transparent. It appeared humanoid, but with proportions that suggested something far beyond human physiology. When it spoke, the sound seemed to bypass their ears, resonating directly in their minds. Preservation protocol activated, the figure intoned. Final cycle initialization. Jack's cybernetic eye began processing the information at unprecedented speeds. "It's a message," he said. "No, a test." The holographic environment shifted. Now they were witnessing the Space Guardians at the height of their civilization. Massive cosmic engineering projects that spanned entire galactic clusters. Entire star systems moved like chess pieces. Civilizations cultivated, protected, sometimes surgically removed when they threatened cosmic balance. They weren't conquerors, Emily realized. They were gardeners. The holographic figure turned, its gaze seeming to pierce through time and space. "Entropy is the greatest threat to universal consciousness," it explained. "Civilizations rise. Civilizations fall. But balance must be maintained." Maria's scientific mind raced. "You manipulated evolutionary paths. You didn't just observe, you guided." A fragment of cosmic history unfolded. The Space Guardians had identified critical junctures in various species development. Subtle interventions, technological hints, genetic nudges that would push a civilization towards cooperation rather than destruction. Humanity, the figure said, represents an anomaly, unpredictable, adaptive, capable of both tremendous destruction and unprecedented creation. Jack stepped forward. "Is that why we're here? Some kind of cosmic job interview?" The temple's internal structure pulsed. Millions of crystalline data streams converge, creating a complex mathematical representation that was simultaneously a language, a technological blueprint, and a philosophical treatise. The final guardians must possess 3 critical attributes, the holographic entity explained: adaptability, ethical complexity. the capacity to understand without necessarily controlling. Emily's neural interface began to overload, processing information at speeds that would have destroyed a standard human brain. Fragments of cosmic history, technological principles beyond current understanding, and complex ethical frameworks flooded her consciousness. "We are being evaluated," she said, her voice distant. "Not just as individuals, as a species." The temple's internal environment continued to shift. Star systems emerged and collapsed. Civilizations flickered like candle flames. And through it all, a subtle pattern emerged. Humanity's potential trajectory, with all its messy, chaotic potential. Jack watched in awe. This wasn't just a discovery. This was a cosmic interview that would determine humanity's future. The Space Guardians had been waiting, watching, testing, and humanity had just been called for the most important evaluation in its history. The genetic scanning process was unlike anything in human medical history. As Jack lay connected to the temple's crystalline interface, his entire biological structure was being mapped, analyzed, and comprehended at a molecular level that defied current scientific understanding. Emily watched the holographic displays, her neural interface struggling to process the sheer volume of information. Genetic markers that had always seemed random were now revealing themselves as an intricate, purposeful design. Human DNA wasn't just a biological code. It was a complex message waiting to be deciphered. "This is impossible," Maria muttered, her engineering background colliding with the inexplicable data streaming before her eyes. "These genetic sequences, they're not just information. They're a language." The temple's holographic guardians continued their analysis. Jack's cybernetic eye, itself a testament to human adaptation, began to synchronize with the crystalline systems. Quantum connections formed, not just between technology and biology, but between different layers of existence that humans had only theorized about. Adaptive mutation. The Guardian's voice resonated through the chamber, unique among observed civilizations. Emily leaned closer to the holographic display. Humanity's genetic history unfolded like a living tapestry. Every major evolutionary leap, every seemingly random genetic mutation, now appeared as a deliberate, intricate design. The Ice Age adaptations, the development of complex language, the capacity for abstract thinking. "You were engineering us," Jack said, more a statement than a question. Long before we even understood what engineering meant. The temple's response was multilayered. Holographic representations showed how human genetic potential differed from every other known species. Where other civilizations had specialized, humans had generalized. Where others developed single extraordinary capabilities, humans developed a remarkable capacity to adapt, to reimagine, to transform. Maria's scientific mind raced. The genetic markers suggest deliberate intervention, but not control. More like guidance. A stunning revelation emerged. Humanity's seemingly chaotic evolutionary path was actually a carefully cultivated experiment. The ability to survive in nearly every environment on Earth. The capacity to create complex social structures. The drive to explore, to question, to challenge existing paradigms. Jack's connection to the temple deepened. His cybernetic eye, once a piece of salvaged technology, now synchronized with the crystalline systems. Memories flooded his consciousness, not just his own, but echoes of human potential stretching across millennia. "We were a failsafe," Emily realized, her voice filled with a mixture of awe and terror. A backup plan for cosmic preservation. The temple showed them humanity's potential futures. Branching timelines where humans could either become cosmic destroyers or ultimate preservers. Civilizations that had fallen. Species that had failed their ultimate test. And through it all, humanity remained an unpredictable, fascinating constant. "Your species exhibits a quantum uncertainty," the Guardian explained, "capable of tremendous destruction, equally capable of unprecedented creation." Jack understood now. This wasn't just about humanity being chosen. This was about humanity choosing itself. The genetic scanning completed. Jack's body hummed with an energy that transcended biological limitations. Markers that had been dormant for millennia suddenly activated. Not as a weapon, not as a tool of control, but as a possibility. Maria's instruments went wild. Quantum entanglement at a genetic level, she whispered. It's like our entire species is being rewritten. Emily's neural interface displayed a complex mathematical representation of human potential. Not a predetermined path, but an infinite matrix of possibilities. Each decision, each moment, creating new potential futures. We are the architects of our own destiny, Jack said, understanding now the true meaning of the Space Guardian's test. The temple pulsed. Humanity's connection was confirmed, but the real challenge was just beginning. They weren't being handed a destiny. They were being given a choice. The first sign of awakening came not with a roar, but with a subtle harmonic resonance that made the very air vibrate with potential. Maria's engineering systems began to transform, her standard-issue research equipment morphing into something that defied current technological understanding. It's interfacing, she breathed, watching in awe as her handheld diagnostic tool unfolded like living metal, quantum circuitry extending beyond its original design. The temple isn't just communicating, it's rebuilding. Jack's cybernetic eye flickered, then exploded with a cascade of information streams that would have fried any standard cybernetic system. Instead, it integrated, expanded, becoming something more than a piece of salvaged technology. Tactical overlays merged with cosmic understanding, creating a hybrid intelligence that bridged human perception and something far more profound. Emily's neural interface went beyond mere communication. The crystalline structures around them began to respond to her thoughts before she could even fully form them. Holographic displays materialized, not as simple projections, but as living information ecosystems that adapted, learned, and anticipated. Defensive systems coming online, Jack announced, though defensive seemed woefully inadequate to describe what was happening. The Zorn battlecruiser hanging in orbit began to experience the first wave of the temple's technological transformation. Weapon systems didn't just deactivate. They were systematically deconstructed, their molecular structures carefully unraveled and reimagined. It wasn't destruction. It was a complete technological re-education. They're teaching, Emily realized. Not destroying. Teaching. Massive energy weapons emerged from the temple's crystalline structure, but they defied every known principle of warfare. Where other civilizations developed weapons to kill, these systems were designed to neutralize, to redirect, to transform conflict at its most fundamental level. Maria's engineering background struggled to comprehend the technology. Quantum entanglement became a visible, manipulable substance. Energy transfer occurred through methods that made nuclear fusion look like a child's chemistry set. The very laws of physics seemed to be suggestions rather than absolute rules. Adaptive response protocols, the temple's guardian voice explained. Conflict resolution through technological intervention. Jack watched as a massive energy field began to form around their research vessel, the Horizon. But this was no simple shield. It was a living system that could analyze incoming threats, understand their fundamental nature, and neutralize them without violence. The Zorn battlecruiser became a perfect demonstration. Its weapon systems were systematically transformed. Offensive capabilities were redirected, re-engineered into systems of communication, of energy transfer, of mutual understanding. This is beyond technology, Maria muttered. This is philosophy made manifest. Emily's neural interface began to show the true depth of the transformation. Entire weapon systems were being converted into research tools. Destructive energy was being transformed into communication channels. The Zorn's most advanced military technology was being reimagined as a platform for understanding. Jack felt the temple's intelligence merge with his own cybernetic systems. It wasn't an invasion. It was an invitation. A collaborative process that expanded the very concept of intelligence. Humanity's primary strength, the Guardian's voice resonated, is not technological superiority. It is the capacity to reimagine. Holographic displays showed multiple potential scenarios. In each one, humans faced seemingly insurmountable challenges. And in each scenario, the solution came not from superior firepower, but from creative adaptation. The temple was doing more than just revealing technology. It was teaching a fundamental lesson about the nature of intelligence, of conflict, of existence itself. Maria's transformed engineering systems began to understand systems at a level that went beyond mechanical understanding. She could see the living connections between technologies, the quantum entanglements that made true communication possible. "We're not just receiving technology," she said, her voice filled with wonder. "We're being invited to understand." As the Zorn battlecruiser hung transformed in orbit, it became clear that this was more than a technological awakening. This was a philosophical revolution. Humanity's greatest weapon had always been its ability to reimagine. And now, the universe was about to learn that lesson. The first wave of the Zorn Confederacy's reinforcement fleet arrived like a silicon nightmare. 12 battlecruisers, each capable of reducing entire planetary systems to atomic dust, emerged from faster-than-light transit in perfect military formation. Their weapon signatures alone would have been enough to obliterate most known civilizations. Jack Thompson stood in the temple's central chamber, his cybernetic eye processing tactical information at speeds that would have melted standard computational systems. "They're not here to negotiate," he said quietly. Emily Rodriguez's neural interface was already mapping potential scenarios. Holographic displays erupted around her, showing millions of potential conflict trajectories. But these weren't just military projections. They were living mathematical equations that considered not just destruction, but every possible form of resolution. "It's not about winning," she muttered. "It's about understanding." Maria Gonzalez had transformed from a standard research engineer into something entirely different. The temple's technological integration had expanded her perception beyond traditional engineering. She could literally see the quantum entanglements between the approaching ships, the planetary systems, and the crystalline structures surrounding them. The Zorn fleet's communication channels erupted with a standard ultimatum. High Commander Krasnak's voice thundered across multiple frequency bands. "Surrender the temple. Surrender your research, or be completely annihilated." What happened next would be recorded in galactic archives as the most unprecedented conflict resolution in known history. The temple didn't create weapons. It created possibilities. Each Zorn battlecruiser found its most aggressive systems systematically reimagined. Weapon conduits transformed into communication channels. Destructive energy was redirected into complex information transfer. The very concept of warfare was being rewritten at a fundamental technological level. Adaptive conflict resolution, the temple's guardian voice explained. Not destruction. Transformation. Jack watched in awe as the first battlecruiser's weapon systems began to deconstruct themselves. But this wasn't destruction. This was a complete technological re-education. Complex weapon arrays became research platforms. Defensive systems transformed into diplomatic communication networks. The Zorn commanders watched in horror as their most advanced military technology was systematically repurposed. Maria's enhanced perception showed the true depth of what was happening. It wasn't just technological neutralization. It was a fundamental reimagining of conflict itself. Each weapon system was being broken down, its fundamental components redistributed into systems of mutual understanding. "They're teaching," Emily realized. "The temple is teaching them how to communicate." Quantum entanglement became visible, complex networks of potential communication dancing between the ships. The Zorn's military technology was being transformed into a platform for understanding, for dialogue, for mutual exploration. High Commander Krasnak's final transmission was a mixture of rage and incomprehension. "What are you doing? This is impossible." Jack's response was calm. "This is humanity's true strength. We don't just fight. We reimagine." The temple's guardian explained the deeper truth. Humanity's evolutionary path had prepared them for this moment. A species that had survived ice ages, global conflicts, technological revolutions, a species that didn't just adapt, but transformed entire paradigms of understanding. 12 battlecruisers hung in orbit, their most aggressive systems now platforms of potential communication. The Zorn Confederacy's most advanced military technology had been completely neutralized, not through destruction, but through a fundamental reimagining of its purpose. Maria watched the quantum entanglements, her perception expanded beyond traditional understanding. "We're not just stopping a conflict," she said. "We're creating a new way of resolving conflicts." Emily's neural interface showed millions of potential scenarios. In each one, humanity's capacity for creative problem-solving transformed seemingly impossible situations into opportunities for mutual understanding. The temple pulsed. The Zorn fleet hung transformed. And humanity stood at the precipice of a new understanding of conflict, of communication, of existence itself. This wasn't just a victory. This was a revolution. The moment the final Zorn battlecruiser transformed, the temple's internal structure underwent a fundamental metamorphosis. What had seemed like a crystalline structure revealed itself as something far more complex, a living repository of cosmic knowledge that defied every known principle of information storage and transmission. Emily Rodriguez's neural interface went into overdrive. Holographic displays erupted around her, showing layers of cosmic history that stretched beyond known time. Civilizations rose and fell in compressed temporal sequences. Entire galactic clusters demonstrated patterns of evolution that made human understanding of biology look like primitive sketches. "We were never just observers," the temple's guardian voice resonated. "We were cultivators." Jack Thompson's cybernetic eye parsed information at speeds that would have melted standard computational systems. He saw the intricate web of cosmic intervention, subtle genetic nudges, carefully placed technological seeds, entire evolutionary paths delicately guided by the space guardians. Maria Gonzalez stood transfixed as her enhanced perception revealed the true nature of cosmic development. It wasn't random. It wasn't chaotic. It was a carefully composed symphony of potential, with humanity playing a uniquely critical role. The temple began to download its complete archives directly into their consciousness, not as simple data, but as living information that restructured their very understanding of existence. Cosmic secrets unfolded. The Space Guardians had been active for millions of years, but not as conquerors or direct rulers. They were architects of potential, identifying species with the capacity for true cosmic understanding. Humanity was unique, a species that existed in a constant state of quantum uncertainty. Most civilizations develop specialized intelligence, the Guardian explained. Your species develops adaptive intelligence. Holographic displays showed the critical moments of human development. The development of complex language, the capacity for abstract thinking, the ability to reimagine entire systems of understanding at a moment's notice. Where other species saw limitations, humans saw opportunities. Emily realized the true depth of their discovery. "We're not just a chosen species," she said. "We're a fail-safe mechanism for cosmic balance." The temple revealed the broader cosmic context. Entropy was the greatest threat to universal consciousness. Most civilizations followed predictable paths. They would rise, develop technology, and then either destroy themselves or stagnate. Humanity was different, unpredictable, capable of fundamental reimagination. Jack watched as millions of potential timelines unfolded. In each one, humanity faced seemingly insurmountable challenges. And in each scenario, they found a way to transform the impossible into the possible. "Your species exhibits a quantum uncertainty," the Guardian continued, "capable of tremendous destruction, equally capable of unprecedented creation." Maria's enhanced perception showed the intricate connections. Humanity wasn't just a single species on a single planet. They were a cosmic possibility, a potential solution to the fundamental challenge of universal stagnation. The download continued, cosmic engineering techniques that made human technology look like children's toys. Methods of manipulating reality at a fundamental quantum level, but more importantly, the philosophical frameworks that allowed such manipulation. "We do not choose successors," the Guardian explained. "We create opportunities for self-selection." Emily's neural interface began to show the true depth of human potential, not just as a technological species, but as a philosophical one. A species capable of fundamentally reimagining the nature of existence itself. Jack understood now. This wasn't just about humanity being chosen. This was about humanity choosing itself. The final layer of information revealed the most profound truth. The Space Guardians had been preparing for this moment for millennia. Humanity wasn't just a potential successor. They were a fundamental reset mechanism for cosmic evolution. "Balance requires chaos," the Guardian said. "And no species creates productive chaos like humans." As the information download completed, the three humans stood transformed, not physically, but in their fundamental understanding of existence itself. They weren't just researchers anymore. They were cosmic architects. And their real work was just beginning. The transformation was not instantaneous. It was a gradual awakening that would reshape human civilization at its most fundamental level. United Nations Cosmic Research Facility, Earth Orbital Station. 72 hours after the Kepler 452 bits incident, Jack Thompson stood before a panel of the world's most influential leaders, scientists, and diplomats. The holographic displays behind him showed fragments of the temple's knowledge, cosmic engineering techniques, evolutionary pathways, and potential futures that would have been considered impossible mere days ago. "We are not being handed a destiny," Jack explained, his cybernetic eye casting subtle holographic projections that danced around the room. "We are being given a choice." Emily Rodriguez stood beside him, her neural interface subtly interfacing with the station's communication systems. The information they had brought back from the temple was more than just scientific data. It was a fundamental reimagining of humanity's place in the universe. The Zorn Confederacy's representative sat in stunned silence. Their 12 neutralized battlecruisers now orbited Earth, transformed into research platforms that demonstrated the temple's ultimate lesson of technological conversion. Maria Gonzalez's enhanced perception mapped the potential reactions in the room. Political tensions, scientific excitement, existential terror, all intermingled in a complex quantum state of human emotion. The Space Guardians, Emily began, were not a governing body. They were cultivators of cosmic potential. Holographic displays showed millions of potential futures. In some, humanity descended into destructive conflict. In others, they became true cosmic architects. The key difference was always the same: the capacity to choose, to adapt, to reimagine. The United Nations representative, Ambassador Helena Rodriguez, no relation to Emily, spoke first. "What are the implications?" Jack's response was measured. "We can continue as we have been, a fractured species limited by our current understanding, or we can become something more." The temple's technological seed had been delivered to Earth, not as a weapon, not as a tool of conquest, but as an invitation to evolve. Maria's enhanced perception showed the intricate quantum entanglements that now connected humanity to a broader cosmic network. The temple had not just shared technology. It had opened a door to a fundamentally different way of understanding existence. "We are not alone," Emily explained, "but we are unique. Our capacity for adaptive intelligence makes us unlike any species the Space Guardians have encountered." The Zorn representative, still processing the complete neutralization of their most advanced military fleet, spoke hesitantly. "You transformed our weapons into research platforms. Why?" Jack's smile was both a challenge and an invitation. "Because destruction is easy, understanding is hard." The holographic displays began to show the broader context. Humanity was not just being offered technological advancement. They were being invited to become cosmic architects, to understand the delicate balance between creation and destruction, between individual potential and collective responsibility. "This is not a gift." The temple's guardian voice resonated through the station's systems. This is an opportunity for self-selection. Ambassador Rodriguez understood the deeper implications. This was more than a technological breakthrough. This was a fundamental choice about the nature of human civilization. Maria's computational analysis showed the critical paths. Humanity could use this knowledge to dominate, to conquer, to expand without consideration, or they could choose a more nuanced path of cosmic understanding. The room fell silent. Jack Thompson looked around at the assembled leaders. Scientists, diplomats, representatives of a species standing at the precipice of its greatest transformation. "We get to choose," he said simply. Outside the station's windows, the transformed Zorn battlecruisers hung in orbit, a living testament to humanity's capacity for reimagination. The temple sea pulsed with potential. Humanity's real journey was just beginning.